Hello. I was away for a while. I simply had my days. But anyways, hopefully I'll be back with the videos now from time to time because there is very many interesting things that are going to happen all over the world, in my less than humble opinion. So let's have a look at what is being played in this year and next year and the years to follow through astrology, and let's see whether we can predict something. I strongly suggest you watching the videos that I already made about certain countries, and we'll get back to these countries and we will try to check out what is going on to happen in future in the countries that are most interested in this very period of time. So, but maybe we'll have a look at the map first of all, if we can. So that's the map of the world, yeah, Google Maps. So there is a number of very important places in the world, and most of these places are the trade routes, and especially bottlenecks of the trade routes. So one of that bottlenecks would be the Suez Canal, and the other one would be Bab el-Mandeb. That's the name of the strait, yeah. Here we have Strait of Hormuz that can be easily blocked by Iran, and then that's 20% of global oil production goes through this strait, goes to China, India, Africa, Europe, everywhere, yeah. And another interesting place, of course, would be Panama Canal, that allows easy transportation between the coasts of the United States. And we would have Gibraltar, again, a narrow body of water, English Channel, and Malacca Strait, where we got, I think that 70% of the maritime traffic goes through this very strait close to Singapore. So if you look this place, that 70% of containers, of everything goes through this very strait. So this is a very important place as well. So I would suggest that these very important trade routes all over the world may experience some sort of action sooner or later, but we'll see. The other important fact is that through the last 5,000 years of history, two most productive areas in the world were Europe, China and India, and other smaller countries in this region. At this stage, China, India, and Indonesia, and these countries here, they contribute to 3-4 billion people. So probably like 50% of population of the world lives here in this area, yeah. So this is where all the production happens and where all the business happens, and this is the center of the world right now, as it used to be 200, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And in my less than humble opinion, it is going to be the center of the world in the years to come, but we'll see. And the United States and England, the rulers of the whole planet for last, let's say, 200 years, are not doing as great as they used to till the year 2008. Let's say till the invasion of Afghanistan, when states went to Afghanistan. They invaded Afghanistan successfully, let's say, at that stage. And that's the other side of the globe. So that was a very big job for American military to invade Afghanistan, especially where there is no access from the global ocean. So they had to ask other countries for permission to invade Afghanistan. That was Pakistan. And the trade routes between China and Europe, the two most productive areas in the world for like 2,000 or 3,000 years, used to be the Silk Road. So stuff traveled from China and from Europe to China on mules camels and stuff like that. So there was no Suez Canal. So the oceanic motorway didn't exist back then to an extent that it does these days. And because United States was the global policeman minding these trade routes, and these days, in my less than humble opinion, might be coming to an end sooner or later. There is few countries in between these two most productive areas in the world. That would be Iran, that would be Israel, Egypt. And these are very important places. And they were extremely important. Tajikistan, for example, Turkmenistan, they were the middlemen in the trade routes between China, India, and Europe. So back then they were just making money by providing how do you say it? By providing means for the trade to happen through their countries. So they used to be different countries maybe back then, but that was the idea. They were just the middlemen in the trade. So they were well off because of the Silk Road trade. And in my less than humble opinion again, they are going to become a very important part of that system again. But let's get back to the horoscopes and come on. It turns off. Okay. So let's get back to our horoscopes. This is the transit horoscope of China for January 2026. And as you can see, we have here transiting Pluto aspecting the natal moon of China in the 12th house in Aquarius. And this is going to be quite an interesting period for Chinese emotion, deepest emotions, because we'll have Pluto exactly on the moon. I think this is the exact 317, almost on the moon. It's going to be moving forward, and then we'll have the same conjunction aspect from the moon, Venus, Sun, Mercury, and Mars to this very point of Chinese horoscope. So Chinese emotions might be quite elevated at that very period of time. What it means, I will have to make a full video about China and the future of China. The thing is that I do have the latest horoscope of China, the People's Republic of China, but China as a country existed for the last 5,000 years, and technically speaking, it would be best to have the first initial horoscope of China, but I do believe that no one has the date. So that would be tricky. The other thing is that Uranus is going to be aspecting, I see, the bottom of horoscope of China as well. Emotions and the beauty and that's gonna be interesting for China anyway. But this is just a short video about what I'm going to say in the next videos. So that period of time, January 2026, seems to be quite energetic, especially emotionally for China. We'll see what happens. That is September 2026, global September 2026, as one of the interesting dates, because we did speak in my previous videos that we have this big setup, massive setup, and of Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, and Pluto, that are in, it's called bisextile or two sextiles and a trine. And together, if there's another point that is activating one of these 3 points, creates even more energy and more change that is going to come to the world. And as we discussed before, because this setup is so massive, it is going to affect more or less each and every beginning of each and every zodiac sign. So if you have any placements, or if a country that you're interested in, or I'm interested in, has any placements in the first degrees of particular sign, sign, like for example, China has, the People's Republic of China has Moon in the initial degrees of Aquarius, where Pluto is right now in the sky and is going to be there for a number of months and years to come, more or less in that region. Whenever there are other aspects that give you more energy, these points, we can expect something to happen to an individual, if we are talking about human being, and I'm covering the whole picture with my face. Sorry about that. Anyways, so we have this massive construct in the sky. I will just say it again. We have Saturn and Neptune here in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini. So on its own, that's a massive, massive setup. And if other points that would add energy to this very setup appear in the sky, something important is going to happen in the world anyways. Is it going to affect you or the country that you're interested in? It depends whether there are placements in the points that are marked here. So, for example, the last time we had an important event happening, that was around the middle of August 2025, as far as I remember it, right? So we had this meeting of Mr. Putin and Mr. Trump in Alaska. And I believe because back then we had Neptune and Saturn already retrograding. They haven't met. They came very close together, but they never actually created a complete conjunction in Aries. That was a very, very important event, but happening behind the scenes. And that's why we don't really know much about what they discussed and how. In my less than humble opinion, they just agreed on certain actions that are going to take place in future. Who's gonna be a winner? We'll see. But I do believe that when all the planets that are playing the most important role right now will go back into the forward movement, and that's gonna be later this year and the next year. And then when we'll have this meetup of Saturn and Neptune in the first and the second degree of Aries, we will see some action. And I do believe that we will see some action because it is going to exactly it's going to be second or the first degree of Aries. It's going to be the first degree of Aries when they are going to make a conjunction to NATO. I see the lowest point if the United States horoscope. When it happened the last time, but back then, I think Neptune just aspected this area of horoscope of the United States. We had the Civil War in States, and this time we have another company of Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto, giving extra energy to this very point of American horoscope. I do expect some turmoil in the United States, and that's gonna be next year, early next year, February, January, February, March next year, yeah? I would expect interesting stuff in general going on all over the world in very many countries, and together with trade wars, tariffs, problems in general with bodies of water and land, that's Saturn and Neptune. So I would see lots of interruptions in the delivery of goods and services all over the world, sooner or later. And I had a quick look at the horoscopes of China, United States, Israel already. So they are probably available in one of my videos, in one of my previous videos. So you are more than invited to have a look at them. Apart from that, I do believe that we are going to have interesting times coming for Poland. I had a brief look at the Polish horoscope, especially progressed horoscope of Poland is quite interesting. The aspects from the progressions, but that's gonna be not yet, soon, probably next year, and the years to follow. Another interesting horoscope is going to be Pakistan and India again, probably, but we'll see it on that in the days and weeks to come. China, United States for sure is going to have quite an interesting horoscope, especially for the beginning of next year. That is going to decide loads all over the world, because right now the United States, well, it used to be, it's not anymore, in my less than humble opinion, as I said before. So there are shifts all over the world. There used to be one ruler of the whole globe. Right now, there are states that start to believe that United States is not as strong as it used to be. And these challenges will try to rise. I do believe that for the time being, maybe we will have a bipolar world with strong United States and strong China. Or maybe we'll go into the worst case scenario that we'll talk about in future videos. Hopefully, when I will wake up tomorrow, and this is like 4:30 right now, in the morning, not during the day, here in Ireland. So we'll get back to analyzing horoscopes of the countries and what I'll see in them, and we'll make videos about it sooner or later, hopefully sooner, because I do believe that interesting stuff is going to happen soon. So, if I was to give advice, have a full tank of petrol or diesel in your vehicle. That's advice number 8. That's a simple thing to do. You can always have it, yeah? Like, try to just use a quarter of your tank and then top it up. That's advice number 1. I do expect that there is going to be a massive financial shift all over the world, and we are going to financial system is going to be changed. And I do believe that in the initial stage, the financial system will be broken into fragments. So many different countries, many different systems. Then maybe we will have unification later. We'll see what happens, and we'll try to get some dates in the videos to come. And I will have to have a look at horoscopes again of Israel, Iran, as soon as I can, and then horoscopes of Pakistan and India again as soon as I can. Very important players. And China, of course. Taiwan, I think that I had a look at the horoscope of Taiwan a number of months ago, and it looked to me that it was quite good, but I'm not sure about that. I have to do it. United States again, and that's it. And I think that it's gonna give us the picture of what's going to happen in the year 2026. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments. If you have any suggestions of what countries should I analyze, if I find the date of birth of such a country, we'll have a look, yeah? And I should have a look at the horoscopes of politicians as well. That might be a good idea. Of presidents, I did President Trump already, and we'll see. If you have any suggestions, if you can give me politicians that you would be interested in, let me know. Write it in the questions below, and we'll see what I can do. That's it for today. See you next time. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe. Because if I want to satisfy YouTube, I should be shooting videos every day. We'll see. Anyways, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.